You know, this is really rich. It's not like anybody really gives a shit about American women at all. But it is kind of hilarious that right-wingers are all in a tizzy because Democrats have proposed that women register for the draft just like men have done for years. The only trouble is it's all bullshit anyway. It's all bogus-y crap because there hasn't been a draft since the Vietnam War, and that was 50 years ago. And it's been all volunteer. And the military has plenty of people in there that are willing to serve for their country, and they're also a better caliber people because they want to be there. They want to be there and serve rather than they're against their will. Because back in the old days, it was just anybody that could pass the physical, any guy, and a lot of times it was disproportionately poor men and minorities, racial minorities. And so they were more likely to be drafted and killed. And in the old days, of course, with the ridiculously young marriages and crap, men could get deferments if they married and had kids, or student deferments also were a big one. None of those were, people these days call it draft dodging. That was not draft dodging. The draft dodgers were the ones who burned their draft cards and then went out of the country to live because they opposed the Vietnam War. Those were the draft dodgers. People who took legal deferments, men who took them, since it was men who were subject to the draft, they weren't draft dodgers. They followed the law. So that was always a misnomer, or that's been misused for years. But it's kind of funny that they're even talking about something that hasn't been the case in 50 years and most likely will never be again. And it's laughable because women don't have any rights in the United States. They're not even enshrined in the Constitution, but for the right to vote. And it just says on account of sex. And now, of course, it's all been twisted what sex is. You know, instead of male and female, like we've always known it was, now it's whatever somebody says they are. So outfits like Wolf have come out against the ERA because of the twisting of the word sex. But that's a Phyllis Schlafly argument, and I don't agree with that at all. But there is no ERA. And the funny thing is, one of these people that was against, what was it, in the Senate, it was overwhelmingly approved to have women sign up. The three dissenters were Tom Cotton and Josh Hawley. And then Senator Elizabeth Warren. Now, Elizabeth Warren has been one of the big advocates for the trans agenda, right? Another one that's willing to throw women under the bus. But here she voted no. Now, what did she say? Why did she oppose it? Or did they say why Elizabeth Warren opposed it? Probably not. But the irony is, no, it doesn't say. Let's find out why she voted against it. Elizabeth Warren. Let's see what she had to say. That was a Yahoo article. But my guess is she was either being a dove about it, or that maybe she figured since women weren't enshrined in the Constitution because of no ERA, that she couldn't vote for this. I don't know. It doesn't say why she voted against it. But I could probably find that out later. I don't have time here to mess with this. But the irony here is the Democrats are so big on this, right? They have to know what sex is. They have to know what a woman is, right? Because all men have to register for the draft, but now they're saying, well, now women should. They must know what a woman is. And yet they're the ones that are willing to throw women under the bus. But anyway, it's all a bunch of bloviating. It's all a bunch of posturing. Because the draft will most likely never come back. And unless we have a world war or something, it's probably never going to come back. So, anyway, I thought the irony here is here the Democrats are willing to have women be subject to the draft. So they must know what the hell a woman is to do this. They must know the difference between men and women to do this. And so it's just, it's just a bunch of bullshit posturing.